Saludos familia, Erasma here from Tambola Dialogues. So, as many of you heard, this past Saturday, the U.S. Embassy issued an advisory to U.S. citizens alerting them that in recent months, travelers to the Dominican Republic have reported being delayed, detained, or subject to heightened questioning at ports of entry and in other encounters with immigration officials based on their skin color. The U.S. Embassy further warned that the Dominican government's actions would pose a problem for darker skinned Americans and African Americans traveling in the Dominican Republic. Okay, so I recognize that we Dominicans have work to do to rid ourselves of the vestiges of colorism here in the DR and learn to be proud of our rich African ancestry and not just our Spanish and Indigenous history. And I can't deny that, yes, over the years, there have been incidents in which people, black, brown, white, tourists, Dominicans, you name it, have been stopped by who they thought were police, but were actually ladrones, thieves. But do those random, isolated incidents warrant such a generalized advisory from the US Embassy? No. I will say this about the ports of entry. As a regular traveler, I encountered no such issues entering República Dominicana when traveling back here from the US or from Europe. More importantly, although I was stopped at like 20 or so military checkpoints on Saturday as I was traveling back to Santo Domingo from the border with Haiti, I and my very dark skinned companions were treated with respect, dignity, and sent on our merry way without issue. Each stop lasted no more than a minute. And if the advisory was to call attention to the migration crisis here in República Dominicana, well, I too am deeply troubled by the deportation of Haitians, but I find the embassy's very generalized advisory without merit and, quite frankly, hypocritical, as the US itself has a very tainted history of detainment of travelers to the US, separation of families, and has deported more than 20,000 Haitians back to Haiti. Look, I learned a lot from my recent trip to the Dominico Haitian border, and quite frankly, the international community, including the United States, is to blame for the destabilization of the Haitian government and for the marginalization of its people. To the international community, if you're listening to this, I say to you, what Macbeth said to himself after killing Duncan, will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hands?